Our top focus at this hour, the United States has hit back at Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov, who has said that the ties between the two nations have hit rock bottom. The reaction from the State Department spokesperson Ned Price comes after Lavrov said that no date has been set for sending the Russian ambassador back to Washington. Russia recalled its U.S. ambassador after U.S. President Joe Biden agreed to Russian President Vladimir Putin being a killer. Biden also said that the days of the U.S. rolling over to Putin are over, and that he has taken pains to contrast his approach with that of former President Donald Trump. Trump avoided direct confrontation with Putin and frequently spoke about the Russian leader with approval.
That we continue to look for a stable and predictable relationship with Russia. Just because we have these profound disagreements, just because the relationship is where it is right now, doesn't mean that there aren't going to be any areas of tactical alignment.
Ned Price has also strongly criticized Moscow for meddling in the two most recent U.S. presidential elections, establishing bounties on U.S. soldiers in the Middle East and aggressive behavior toward Ukraine. Ukraine has accused Moscow of building up troops on its border. The Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin reiterated the U.S.'s commitment to building the capacity of Ukraine's forces to defend more effectively against Russian aggression.
Forget Russia's ongoing aggression in Ukraine, and we're absolutely concerned by recent escalations of Russian aggressive and provocative actions in eastern Ukraine, including violations of the July 2020 ceasefire that led to the deaths of 4 Ukrainian soldiers on March 26th and injuries to others. Russia's destabilizing actions undermine the de-escalation intentions achieved through the OSCE brokered agreement of July of last year.
Unverified social media footage has suggested that Russia has been moving large quantities of tanks, armored personnel carriers and other equipment to regions that border Ukraine as well as to Crimea, which Moscow annexed from Ukraine in 2014. NATO has voiced concerns over what it said was a big Russian military buildup near eastern Ukraine. While Russia has warned that any attempt to start a new war in Donbass could destroy Ukraine, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov played down the build-up, saying that this should not bother anyone and it poses no threat to anyone, adding that Russia was taking measures to ensure the security of its own borders. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov said that most of Ukraine's military appear to understand the dangers of a hot conflict, as he put it, in Donbass. For more on this story, WION's correspondent Julia Chapman is now joining us live from Moscow. Welcome to WION, Julia. Now, the battle of words between the US and Russia continues, with the US hitting back at the Russian foreign minister who had said that the ties between the two nations have hit rock bottom. Tell us more about the same.
That's right. We've been hearing a lot of very difficult, tense rhetoric from both the Russian and the US sides in the last couple of weeks, with the tensions really ramping up, particularly with the withdrawal of the Russian ambassador to Washington. He's here in Moscow right now. He has been for some 10 days already, really consulting with officials here in Moscow about where the US-Russia relationship will lead going forward. And we've been hearing most recently from Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov, who said that relations between Russia and the United States are at rock bottom. We've been hearing very similar words from the US side. However, both countries very keen to stress that there are still areas where the two countries can cooperate, really trying to de-escalate the situation amid accusations of election meddling, and after President Joe Biden of the US said that he thought President Putin was a killer. Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov said in his interview to one of Russia's state media channels that he thinks everyone is a grown-up here in the relationship, both on the US side and the Russian side. He says nobody wants an escalation, nobody wants any kind of confrontation, so he did express some hope that things could be rolled back in the war of words between Russia and the United States. But he did say that the US tougher stance that has been taken under the Biden administration, more pressure on Russia, added sanctions since Joe Biden came to power. Mr. Lavrov says because that is a policy that simply will not work and not have any impact on Russia's actions.
Right. Now, Julia, the US State Department also strongly criticized Moscow for meddling in the two most recent US presidential elections, as you just pointed out, and also showing aggressive behavior towards Ukraine. So what is Moscow's stand in all of this?
Well, Moscow denies any involvement in meddling in the US elections, either the one in 2016 or last year. That's been met with condemnation, all of these accusations. And indeed, officials in Moscow have said that any sanctions that are issued against Russia are the meddling themselves. So really denying any efforts to undermine the electoral process in the United States. But when it comes to Ukraine, of course, Russia has been pointing to Ukrainian provocations. And this, of course, comes after the United States issued its support for Ukraine, which has been accusing Russia of a military buildup along the border and also in Russian-annexed Crimea. There's been a huge flurry of troop movements, according to the Ukrainian side. And of course, that's been thought to be a military exercise that has been ongoing from the Russians in the last week or so. But also NATO has said that it has seen an unusually high level of Russian jets flying around Europe, both in the North Sea and the Black Sea. NATO has had to scramble some 10 jets in the last few days. So quite a lot of military activity going on. Both Ukraine, NATO and the United States are watching very closely to see what the Russians are up to. And it could just be some sort of statement to the West saying, don't mess with us, essentially.
Right, Julia, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast with all your inputs. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.